Well, when you talk about super fans, you talking about one man and one man only. We talking about Stingray. Stingray, how you doing today?
Good. How about you, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I want to go ahead and thank you personally. I reached out to you maybe last week about doing next week's show.
Right.
We had a little bit of controversy going on, and that my guest had to cancel.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that I can get him back and we can have an interview with him. But as of right now, I got my man Stingray here. We're going to talk some football. We're going to talk about what he's been up to. So let's get started.
Okay.
There's a little confusion. Where are you from?
Tuscaloosa, Alabama, born and raised.
Wow. That's where Alabama's from.
Oh, I understand that. And I actually graduated from the University of Alabama, too. So I guess I'm a Roll Tide alum.
Well, that's interesting. Hey, in the introduction, I forgot to say that, you've been on the Paul Finebaum show, Tosh.O,
right.
SEC Network. You made your rounds. You're sort of a celebrity, not only in Mississippi, but in Alabama.
Right. But now I will have to say that was the old Stingray that was overweight. This is the new Stingray now.
We're going to get to that in a minute because if you can see Stingray now, it's a little different. Now, the first time I ever saw one of your videos, the first thing that popped in my mind was, man, that looks like my cousin Nick. I have a cousin y'all two could be twins.
Right.
I was just like, man, is that Nick? Maybe he become a Mississippi State fan. But anyway, it was kind of weird because I really thought you was my cousin for a long time. You're not laughing because it's not funny, but I really thought you was my cousin.
Right.
So at the University of Alabama, what kind of degree did you get? I know you graduated.
Sports broadcasting. So a broadcast news degree.
And
go
ahead.
The reason that I wanted to do that was because I love sports, and before that, I was really into the weather, and had the opportunity to intern with a couple of meteorologists here in the Birmingham and Tuscaloosa area. So that's really my ties to Mississippi State, was because Mississippi State has one of the best meteorology programs for broadcasters in the country. 80% of the meteorologists that you see on TV graduated from the Mississippi State University. And so I went over there my junior and my senior year of high school and toured the campus and fell in love with it. But then towards the end of my senior year of high school, I decided that sports would be a better avenue for me because it's a lot more exciting here in Alabama than when you get into the hot, boring days of summer here. It's 90 degrees, chance of thunderstorms, that kind of stuff, just on and on and on. So I decided to change to sports. And so I enrolled at the University of Alabama and got my degree and graduated broadcast news in 2010.
Wow. Now, rumor has it, if you want to put it in your Google machine, you have a little love for weather.
I do.
Well, tell me what that's about.
Well, like I said, I've had the privilege to intern with 2 TV stations here locally. One with James Spann up at ABC 3340, and then, of course, with Wes Wyatt here in Tuscaloosa at WVUA when he was the chief meteorologist down here. Wes has recently has moved on up to Birmingham to Fox 6. So I covered a lot of severe weather events with Wes, like Hurricane Katrina here when it came through Tuscaloosa and places like that. So I've really had a love for the weather. And so the weather now is kind of my hobby. And I do severe weather updates and videos both on Facebook and on Twitter when severe weather happens in and around the Southeast. And I'll be doing a lot of those the rest of the week and this weekend with this tropical storm that we have that's over the Bay of Campeche right now, moving up towards the state of Louisiana and Texas, from basically places from Corpus Christi all the way over to Tampa, Florida. Need to really watch the movements of Cristobal this weekend, because it looks like it's going to be a pretty big significant threat of wind damage and a lot of heavy rain, basically from Corpus Christi all the way over to Tampa, Florida. So it's going to be a rather wild weekend with the progression of the tropical storm that's coming up through the Gulf.
I got to ask you, Stingray, you're not going to become a storm chaser, are you?
No, I don't think so, no. Because, see, if I was out there in the plains, maybe. But, you know, here in Alabama, we got trees and hills and all that stuff, and it makes it really difficult unless you're a professional to go out there and storm chase. And so that's why a lot of the meteorologists around here tell you, don't storm chase here. Leave that to the professionals because of the hills and the trees around here. Because it can put you in a very dangerous situation if you don't know what you're doing.
Well, as long as I don't see you in an Oklahoma Sooner t-shirt.
Yeah, right, that's true.
I'll be there in Oklahoma. This year, I was the only season ever I was like, all right, let's go Sooners.
Yes.
This year only. There was no other year. But we'll talk about it in a minute. So my question is, what got you making videos?
Well, the night that the SEC network signed on TV, I was on the first ever SEC story program that they showed. It's called The Stars Align. And I was on the section that talked about the rivalry between Mississippi State and Ole Miss. And it shows me ringing my cowbell twice. And it's right after Shepard Smith talks bad about the cowbells, and it goes to me ringing the cowbell furiously. And so I got a lot of feedback over that. And so the next day, when the Paul Finebaum show went on the SEC network, he said, we would like to have a representative from all 14 SEC schools. And we would like for you to send in your rant videos to tell us why you think your team is going to win games. So I pondered it for a minute, and I continued to watch throughout the weeks. And the rant videos, when they first began, were horrible. They were like this, and Paul Finebaum was like, do we have anybody who has a videography degree? And don't put the camera right up there where we can see up your nose holes. So I was like, well, I have a broadcasting degree. I kind of know a little bit about how to, do the camera work and all that stuff. And nobody on the Finebaum show represents Mississippi State. You have people from Louisiana. You have people that are Alabama fans, Auburn fans, but nobody from Mississippi and Mississippi State. So I said, I'm a Mississippi State fan. Why not let me be the voice of the Mississippi State Bulldogs on Finebaum? So the first video that I put out was actually the Tuesday or Wednesday before Mississippi State went down to Tiger Stadium and shocked the world. And I put that video out and sent it into Finebaum. And I actually said Mississippi State and Dak Prescott will shock the world on Saturday night in Death Valley. And Finebaum didn't show it because apparently he thought I was nuts, because Mississippi State had not won in Tiger Stadium since 1992. So he just kind of figured that it was going to be, another shellacking by the hands of LSU. Turns out it was the opposite. Mississippi State went down there and skull drug LSU. So the next week, Mississippi State hosted Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M was like 4th in the country. So I did another rant video, and I called Finebaum out, and I said, I sent a video in last week. You didn't show it, so I'm trying it again. And he showed that one, and thus Stingray was born.
And the world has never been the same since.
Thank you, man.
So I got some questions. So Paul, how's he like in person?
He's not too friendly. He's very business oriented. He will not do, like we're doing right now, conversing. It's just like, I've been on the set with him twice. It's like, okay, you're going to be on here for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and they'll let you know when we're back and all that stuff. He is completely different from Daniel Tosh. Daniel Tosh will sit there and joke with you and just have a ball. He's got that Southern, niceness about him because he's from Florida. But Finebaum is very business-oriented and not really a conversationalist.
Now, if you have some time, go back and watch the Stingray version of Tosh.O. The first, I guess. You did 2 of them.
Yes. I was on there last September as well in a segment that they did called Around the Horn. And it was me and a whole bunch of other people on there as well. Now, that one I didn't necessarily like too much. My part was good, but the other parts of it were really vulgar. But the first one, where I'm a Mississippi State fan, where I'm a celebrity profile, that's the best one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Tosh.O.
Yeah.
I mean, but I didn't see that episode, but I did see the one with you. And I was like, then I thought you was like kind of a secret, like only I knew about you. And then all of a sudden I saw you on Tosh.O. And
now the other one, the one that I did last year was via Skype. So I actually didn't get to go out to LA again because of the short time frame. But the first one, I actually got to go out to LA and be at the studio where Daniel was, and it was awesome.
Yeah, he really does not like Nick Saban.
No, and he does not like Lane Kiffin either. So, I guess Ole Miss is going to start being the butt of the joke now.
It's so funny because last week I was interviewing Ole Miss former lineman David Evans, and before we're both private investigators, and we both, we converse all the time, but we was talking about Lane Kiffin, and during the interview, he was like, he may be the next Nick Saban. And I was kind of like,
no, I don't think so.
He may be the next Jerry Saban. Who's Jerry Saban? Yeah. I mean,
I still don't think he's matured enough. From the Tennessee days, I really don't. Because a leopard never changes its spots. I
give him 2 years at Ole Miss.
Yep.
And then he's going to be somewhere at the beach. I mean, why he left FIU, I don't know. I don't know why did he leave? He left a place where he can win national championships so he can go be head coach.
Well, now, did you watch the FAU bowl game last year?
No, I did not.
I did. And the reporters on the game, not the reporters, the broadcasters on the game did say that with the new tenure and coaching staff coming in, that they were going to have to do a lot of, a discipline against the players because they were being allowed to play with lower grades and stuff like that. So that's probably one of the reasons that he left, was because he was allowing players to play with low GPAs and that kind of stuff. And so I'm just like, that raises kind of a red flag, especially going to Ole Miss, who is already who was just getting over the infractions of the previous tenure of Hugh Freeze. So, I mean, they're going to have a microscope on him, dude. I mean, they are.
Then naughty.
Yep.
Let's just hope Alabama don't get caught doing anything. Love you, Nick.
But now, I will say this though. You said that Lane Kiffin 2 years at Ole Miss. I think Mike Leach retires at Mississippi State. That's my thinking. I think he's in his final steps going to Mississippi State because he's getting on up there in age, and his kind of football is kind of it's good in a sense, But if you really game plan for it, you can really stop it, like Chris Peterson did up there at Washington State. He never beat Chris Peterson in Washington at Washington State. So, you know, I just really don't like his scheme too much because it's very similar to what Dan Mullen and Urban Meyer runs, and it's very predictable and it's a very good offense to try and stop if you can game plan and be a great defensive coordinator.
Now I got to ask you. You brought up Mississippi State. You're known and you're famous for being the Mississippi State super fan.
Right.
But one of the last videos I saw you was digging a chicken or cock or whatever you want to put in the grave, and you had a Missouri shirt on. And last couple of videos I saw you that I were kind of schemed over. You was wearing Missouri stuff. As a fan of Alabama, as a fan of the Atlanta Falcons, I've been a fan of Alabama my whole life. I've been a fan of the Atlanta Falcons my whole life. Even though I don't watch too much NBA basketball a lot, I've been a fan of the Bulls my whole life. I was cheering on when Hershey Hawkins and Elton Brand and Brent Berry and Dickie Simpkins was the starters.
Mm-hmm.
You took that Mississippi State shirt off and you decided to go to Missouri.
Yes.
After graduating from Alabama. So you went from graduating from Alabama to being a Mississippi State fan, which is okay because you said you went there for weather. So you actually went to school to Mississippi State.
Well, I got accepted, but I never went. I changed and enrolled at Alabama.
Okay.
But I did get accepted.
Well, I have a friend, acquaintance from high school who graduated from Auburn, but he's the biggest Alabama fan.
Right.
And we were cool back in high school, but I hadn't talked to him in 20 years.
Yes.
But I know that he graduated from Auburn and he's the biggest Alabama fan. I see him on Facebook posting Roll Tide all the time. I'm like,
right.
You went to Auburn. But with that said, you're no longer the Mississippi State super fan. What happened?
Well, like we were talking about earlier, when I went on and made my famous debut on Tosh.O, it's supposed to be satire and funny and all that stuff. Well, the Mississippi State fans took it serious, and they're a fan base that can't laugh at themselves. So after it aired, they completely lambasted me and completely turned against me and started fat shaming me and trolling me and bullying me on social media and saying that, that Mississippi State and Mississippi State fans should cut ties with Stingray because he's trying to advance his own brand at the expense of Mississippi State. Well, my brand was trying to support Mississippi State. So I didn't have my own agenda. My agenda was trying to promote Mississippi State. So when they started trolling me and bullying me, I said, well, if that's the way you're going to treat me, then I'm just going to be the bigger person, not cause a controversy, but I'm going to remove myself from the situation and disown Mississippi State. So I completely quit with Mississippi State and went elsewhere.
Now, is it true that many schools reached out to you and said, hey, you can represent us?
Yes.
And so
what now?
I don't know how it worked out, but what was the process? Like, did coaches and schools contact you and say, hey, represent us?
Right. Well, there was a radio station called The Morning After in St. Louis, and I'd been on their airways like 4 or 5 times since I've been Stingray, and I became really good friends with Tim McKernan, who is the host of The Morning After in St. Louis. And so after the blow up and everything, they contacted me and said, hey, Stingray, would you please be on the radio show one morning at 8 o'clock. And of course, I said I would. And they saw that I was a free agent. And they said, well, Stingray, our team, Missouri, is coming up playing South Carolina this weekend. If we send you a Missouri shirt and $60 and a Missouri hat, would you please consider doing a rant for Missouri Nation? And I said, yes, of course I would. And so they overnighted the shirt to me, and I did it. And not one negative comment from anybody in Missouri Nation. Nobody. So they all really loved it. They really promoted it. I think I got like, I don't know, 20 or 25,000 views before the South Carolina game. And so the love and excitement over me being a Missouri fan and people in Missouri really stuck with me. And so I just really became a Missouri fan because of that.
Well, let me go ahead and give you the invite. Now, I don't speak for the Alabama fan base, but come on home, man.
Yeah, I know. Come
home.
Now, I do root for Alabama in basketball and baseball because of this year. I bought season basketball tickets at Coleman and season baseball tickets, which was cut short at the Joe. So I do enjoy Alabama sports, but I just love college sports in general.
Well, if you're wondering why I keep moving my camera, I have a dog right here. And if I don't pet her, she will scratch the hell out of me. So I have to keep like petting her.
By the way, I just got some breaking news that I thought would be rather interesting to throw on here. Unfortunately, Johnny Majors passed away this morning. Clay Travis and Brent McMurphy just tweeted about it, and I just saw the tweet come across my timeline as we were doing this. So Johnny Majors, unfortunately, has passed away.
Wow. I want you to tell the people, some people that who don't know who Johnny Majors is. Why don't you tell somebody who? Go ahead.
Okay. Johnny Majors coached at Tennessee, and I actually got to meet Johnny Majors one time. He was a guest speaker at the Starkville Quarterback Club when I was a member at Mississippi State. I did the Starkville Quarterback Club, and I got to meet him and hear him speak, and he is a great individual.
So, I mean, did he have a little bit of a temper?
A little bit, yeah. But, I mean, he was kind of – this was like 2 years ago. So, I mean, he was kind of in old age and kind of real timid. But he was a great – that was a great night.
Okay. Him timid? For real?
Yes.
Wow. I couldn't imagine that one.
Right.
Well, condolences to the family.
Yes.
To the Tennessee Nation.
Right.
You know, that's sad. You know, Pat died just.
I know.
And
we're losing them left and right, man. I mean, this year's been Kobe, Pat Dye, and now Johnny Majors. So.
I know. And then you're not talking about the pandemic and the riots thing going on. It's crazy. And
yes.
But like I said, if you want to come home to Alabama,
okay.
We love to have you. You know,
hey,
me and you can do a video.
That'd be awesome, dude.
You, me, and Funny Man.
Yeah.
and I want to say this. You know, today, like I said, today was supposed to be Funny Man, and you know, stuff happened, and I want to go ahead and say my piece right now. You know, Funny Man, watching. You know, I'm still a fan, and if you want to come on the Carolyn's Treasure Shop show, which we officially really don't have a name for this show yet. Right. You know, you took the time out to, you know, say yes to somebody small like myself. So, you know, you always welcome here. With that said, we're talking to Stingray, and Stingray, I got to ask you. So, Are you still a big Missouri fan?
I pretty much have just completely backed off, and I like all SEC teams and all college teams now. I just watch it as a fan of the sport, not necessarily a fan of one particular team. And I did that last year, and I'm going to do that again this year if we do have football, because it's a lot more fun and interesting to do it that way for the love of the game and not necessarily one team. Because, if your team loses, you go through depression. And, I mean, there's some fans that really, really take it serious. And
Like,
so if you're a fan of everybody and
like,
just a fan of the sport, then
whoa. Like who? Like
what?
who? Like who the fans that take it a little seriously?
Harvey Updike. I mean, people like that. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you will have to say that crossed the line.
Fans? No. Not. Shouts out to Harvey. No, I'm just playing. Just playing. We don't give him no advertisement.
Right. People take it serious, man. People can't even hardly go to work if the next day if their team loses. I mean, it's just like, come on, man, it's a sport. And I was like that with Mississippi State too. I will.
I was like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how hard it is to win an NCAA championship.
Yeah.
So the fact that the last 11 years we won 6?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, just that one against Texas was enough for me. And I love winning championships. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But there's schools right now that's never won a championship.
Oh yeah.
And for the fact that we have won so many,
yes,
we're a dynasty, and we take it for granted. People act like this has been going on for 30 years. Like, no,
right.
No.
I was there. I was enrolled at Alabama in the Shula years, so I remember that, man. That was awful.
Hey, shouts out to Mike Shula. He was a good. I don't care what anybody says about Mike Shula. He coached during the. We was on probation. And, Mike Shula is a good coach. He's a good guy. And he's part of the Alabama family. So
right.
And that's of course the problem I got. I'm seeing a lot with the funny man situation. People forget. Mike Shula was a player at Alabama.
Yeah.
And he was our head coach. He was a good head coach, in my opinion. He took the firing like a,
right.
I don't think he has any hard feelings towards Alabama.
Yes.
But we got to move on. Tua and Jalen, NFL. What do you think they're going to do?
I think Jalen's going to be better than Tua because I read a report here recently that Jalen, ever since middle school, has had 6 different offensive coordinators. And so he knows more of the playbook and more of a style of play when it comes to playing in the NFL. And I will say this too. I really feel like that Tua has to have a good offensive line to stay healthy. In the times that he was at Alabama, he got injured with hip, ankles, that kind of stuff. And so I really feel like that he is he's going to be too injury prone for me to say that his career is going to be any better than Jalen's because fortunately for Jalen, he has not been injured yet. So that's a good thing. And plus, I really feel like that Jalen matured as a thrower when he went to Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma. So I think overall, when you look at both of their careers in the NFL, when it's over and they're retired, I think Jalen's going to be better than Tua. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay, well, I'm hoping the best for both.
Yes.
Actually, I'm a big Jalen fan.
Yes.
But unfortunately, I'm a Falcons fan.
Yep.
It's kind of like when Mark Ingram went to the Saints. It's like, hey, wish you luck, kiddo, but
right.
That's your ass. Excuse my language. But no, I really do hope both the best. You know, anybody that graduated from Alabama or played for Alabama, I wish the best. With that said, University of Missouri. I know you said you're the SEC super fan, but you also a Missouri fan. What do you think they're gonna do this year?
Man, I don't know. They're going from Barry Odom to the new coach that came from Appalachian State. So I think they're going to be kind of like they were with Gary Pinkel, up tempo, fast, fast, fast. So that's going to take a little bit of time to transition from what Barry Odom threw at them. So I think they do get back to a bowl game, but I would go 6-6, 7-5, something like that.
Okay. Now I'm going. I got to point out the elephant in the room, Stingray. You don't look like the old Stingray.
Thank you.
A little bit. You kind of look like you lost a little bit of weight. What's going on?
I have, yes. I've actually lost 114 pounds in 16 months. I've, completely changed my life, changed my diet and all that stuff. And I've got 36 pounds left to go to reach my goal weight of 218. And that's where I'm going to be. I'm 6'1", and 218 would be a good weight for my build. And so I'm really hoping that I can get this off, the rest of the 36 pounds off by August, so that I can hopefully do a new and improved rant for the start of the 2020 football season, because I think people need it because there's been no sports since probably, mid-February now. So we desperately need sports, and we desperately need something to talk about.
So the rant is going to be about University of Alabama being the greatest football team of all time?
I think it's going to be about the SEC dominating everybody else again. Winning another championship.
For the
University, not really zero in on one team. Talk about all the teams and the SEC dominance.
Except for Auburn.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about them, no.
Let's leave that team out.
Yep.
We'll replace it with Troy or Jacksonville State or Alabama
UAB.
Huh? Or
UAB. Yep.
Or Alabama State or what else schools are we missing?
South Alabama.
South Alabama. We'll put those schools in. Just don't leave Auburn out.
Right.
But
I got a question for you. How do you think Bo Nix is going to do year 1 to year 2? I saw a report where Gus Malzahn says he's really taking the next step, but you can't really say much on what Gus Malzahn says about quarterbacks, can you?
I worried about Auburn as much as I worried about
LSU.
No, something insignificant, a possum. I don't know.
Right.
Look, I'll be straight out because this is a new show. We had David Evans who played for Ole Miss. We got Stingray. Hopefully, we can get Funny Man back, and we got another guest coming up for next week. And I want some Auburn players to come in. I want everybody to feel welcome. But people know my history. I'm not an Auburn fan. I don't necessarily care about Auburn. I didn't cry when the trees got poisoned, but I do not condone vandalism of any sort.
Right.
That doesn't include anybody or anything. But I didn't go hug the tree.
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah.
If they lose, it's a good day for me. But
you're a hard Alabama fan. I mean, that's the way Alabama fans feel. I mean, across the board.
It is what it is.
Even though they represent the state of Alabama in the national championship game against Florida State, everybody cheered when Florida State won. So there you go.
They didn't represent us. They didn't represent the state of Alabama.
Right.
I don't know what they represented. They didn't.
And by the way, when they faced Oregon in the national championship game in 2010, his knee was not down, dude. Come on. So I mean, I really feel like Oregon should have won that game.
I hope,
Of course,
Auburn fans forgive me for this, but I got a little joke for you, Stingray. I know you got to go, but I got a little joke for you.
okay.
So in 2010, Cam Newton, and this has something to do with Mississippi State. So
Right.
in 2010, Cam Newton came into the locker room and decided that he couldn't go to the NFL draft. And everybody was all upset and they're like, why don't you want to go to the NFL draft? And he said, well, it's going to be too much of a pay cut.
That's good, man. And by the way, with the wild stuff that's been going on, did you see where his little brother enrolled at Auburn as well?
Did he? I don't think.
Yeah, he did. But now he's going to have to back up Bo Nix because Bo Nix was the starter last year, and I think he's going to be the starter this year as well.
I mean, bring it.
Yeah.
I mean, I care less about Auburn. I don't. I mean, I watch them to lose.
Right.
But if that's something me and David talked about last week. We all got to keep in mind, being the super fans that we are. You're a super fan. I'm a fan. I love football in general. These are just kids. So
yes.
I try to always keep this and that in my mind. That,
right.
Even though I watch it, some of these kids are going to be multi-millionaires. Now, when you get to the pros, that's your ass. I'll chant. But, I try to keep, I'm a few years away from 40. These are 19, 20-year-old kids. I got to keep that in mind. And
yes,
if you have that orange and blue jersey on, I'm not gonna get mad if you.
Right.
You get any type of trouble. I try to keep it classy. I really do.
Well, I do have a question for you because I think you're a level-headed Alabama fan. What did you think about the move of Tallulah going to Maryland, where the previous offensive coordinator landed for Alabama? What did you think about him transferring out of the school that his brother just left?
I thought it was a good move. Mac Jones, I believe, will be the starter.
Right.
I think we recruited that kid. I forgot his name.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, Bryce Young. They think he's going to be the next superstar.
Right.
I believe each year, if people don't remember the last several years, Alabama's had quarterback competitions.
Yep.
I mean, from Greg, even back in Greg McElroy and AJ McCullen.
Yeah, McCarron. Yeah.
It wasn't advertised, but it was McCarolyn. Yes, it wasn't advertised, but it was a little bit. He was a freshman coming in, and they had a little battle, and then remember Coker and Blake Sims, and
yes.
Just Tula and Jalen just got more advertisement just because of that championship game.
Right.
I do believe that we could have won that national championship game against Clemson. Or was it Clemson?
Yes.
Clemson. If he probably would have thought about putting Jalen in.
Right.
Because he did it in the SEC championship. But I'm not Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Second-hand quarterback, one of the greatest college football coach of all time, is kind of stupid. But, you did it to Jalen.
Yes.
And you won. And then Tula's struggling. And then why not give Jalen a chance? Let him. But he didn't do it. And that, like I said, I'm not going to second-hand, what's it called? What do you call it? Sit in the chair coaching. What's it called?
Couch coaching.
Couch coaching, the great Nick Saban. The fact that we got Nick Saban and we have done what we have done in the last 11 years. It's been 2007?
Yeah.
13, 14 years. Man, he can do whatever he wants. He's proven. He don't need my advice. If he does, he can call me.
Right. So how do you think Tallulah is going to do as a player? Do you think he will measure up to Tua or be better, or how do you feel?
Which one, Jalen?
No, Tallulah, his little brother.
His little brother. Well, with Maryland, he's got a better system to play in.
Right.
I think that's going to fit him. I'm hoping that he does good. I mean, I don't want nobody to do bad.
Right.
I want him to be the next superstar at Maryland. I want him to go win the Heisman, you know.
Yes.
But if he plays against Alabama, you know, use language again, that's his ass.
Right. So, but I mean, do you think he will be that good? Is what I'm asking. Because we really haven't even been able to see him play. Now, I did get to see him in high school, but I haven't really heard much hype about the kid. So I really have no idea.
We heard hype about him in Alabama, where I'm from, because you know I'm from. We heard hype. Right. I heard hype. Him and Bear Bryant's great grandson. That's all we heard about. And you know I don't think he's even in the picture starting.
Right.
With that said, do I think he's going to be good as Tua?
Right.
Possibly. I mean, look at Eli and Peyton. You know, Peyton, Eli's 2 Super Bowl rings.
Yes.
Peyton's got 2 Super Bowl rings. Both will be in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Right.
You really never know. I can't. I mean, I hope he is. I mean, I hope when he goes to Maryland, he tears it up, and then looks back at Alabama like Jaden did. You saw what Jaden did at Oklahoma.
Yes.
You know, I cried. I was like, man, and when Tula got hurt, I was like, you could have had him.
Yep.
Helped them. Just played him at center.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I wish the kid nothing but the best.
Yeah.
And I wish you nothing but the best. For the fact that you took this interview on such short notice, it means a lot to me. I'm a fan. I hope we become friends.
Thank you, man. I do too.
And to the people that were shaming you and treating you bad, to the Mississippi State fans that decided that they didn't want Stingray, I'm here to say right now in front of everybody and to the 10, 15 people that are going to watch this video, we want you at Alabama.
Thank you, man.
From now on, I want to see, now the SEC t-shirt, I want to see an Alabama t-shirt, and I want to see that cowbell. Shut up. No, I'm gonna say. I don't want to see the cowbell. I want to see the elephant and maybe somebody stepping on a tiger.
Right. Okay.
Or shoot an eagle. I don't care. Just do what you want.
So I just, but anyway, well, man, I want to thank you for having me on. And
whoa. I'm the host. I sign off. This is my show. We're going to sign off.
No, I was just thanking you, man.
I was just playing, man. Stingray. No, for real. I thank you. It was my honor for you to be on this show. I thank you so much. And stick around. I'm going to press stop and stick around. I'll talk to you about one more second. And that's it. Thank you, man.
All right. Thank you.
Here at Carolyn's Treasures, you can design your own belts. Alabama's my favorite team! Roll Tide! We don't like Auburn around here, but if you do, we will make you one of our Auburn championship belts. Ooh, Dad, this is heavy. Don't forget our championship wings! On anything. Daddy, this is really heavy. Yeah, we're dropping it.